Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 Switch games. You may have noticed that I did do a top 10 Switch games video a couple years ago, almost about 2.5 years ago now, and that list has changed big time. Some things are the same, but a lot of it has changed, so I figured it was time for an update. So let's just get right to it and jump right in to my favorite games on the Switch, because if you guys don't know, it is actually my favorite console now. So coming in at number 10 is an absolutely amazing title. It's new, but I just loved it, and that is Fire Emblem Engage. Oh my god, I loved this game. It's fantastic. It's everything I wanted from a Fire Emblem game. I loved all the adventuring in it, how you had to go to different kingdoms and meet new people, and there were different, royal siblings that would join your team, and it was just such a blast. The graphics are, in my opinion, fantastic. I loved the color scheme. It didn't bother me. It was really kind of whimsical and colorful, but really just, I don't know, I loved it. I thought it was great. I loved the way the art style was, I suppose. Really, really good. And I just really like the story, I'll be honest. And I know some people really prefer the Three Houses style a bit more, but I didn't connect with Three Houses at all. I connected with Engage. So it was so nice to finally get a Fire Emblem game that I really, truly was like really passionate about. I loved it. I loved every minute I spent with the game. It was fantastic. Such a fun time. I highly recommend it. I still love Fire Emblem Awakening, and there's a few other titles in there that are great, but Fire Emblem Engage has become my favorite Fire Emblem game, and for good reason. It's just a really good time. Coming in at number 9 is a game I thought I would never play. I wrote it off. I never wanted anything to do with it, so it's a huge surprise, and my god, I'm so glad that I played it, and that is Harvestella. Oh my gosh, do not skip this. It's really good. Yes, it has a few farm sim elements, which, as you know, I really dislike. I really just don't care for that style of gameplay. It's not my thing, so that's why I wrote it off. All I heard was, this is a farm sim JRPG, not my thing, and that's kind of how they marketed it. Really, really bad idea. Harvestella is anything but like a farm game. Yes, there are elements. It's in there. There's a few crafting elements. You have, you grow things on your property. There's a few moments where, yes, you are doing farming, but I would say it's like 10% of the game as opposed to the 90% that is an incredible JRPG with a phenomenal story that you do not want to miss. This is one of the best stories in games that I've played recently. I was blown away by it. I was always wanting to play it. I needed to know what was going to happen. The game, by the way, even though it's considered like a AA title, it's not like one of Square's AAA titles like a Final Fantasy. The game looks gorgeous. The world map is just phenomenal. It makes you want to just constantly be exploring, constantly finding a new place to go. And every time I got to a new area, I was so excited because I knew it's going to be amazing. And I was never let down. It's so interesting. Yes, it has the trope of the main character who doesn't remember who they are. They have amnesia. I know that's kind of cliche and overdone, but if you ignore that and you're okay and you accept that, it's really good because you really want to know what's going on. And I won't spoil anything, but I will say, don't treat this game like it's just some game set in a medieval setting. There is something else at play here. It's very interesting, and that's all I will say. At number 8, we have a game that I played actually mostly during my recovery from my surgery last year, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This game is amazing, but also has a ton of faults, so I'm not going to ignore that. I realize that there are issues with this game. It's not perfect by any means, but I really had a good time with it because it was my recovery game. I couldn't even get out of bed, and I was just immersed in the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And it is really great, and I will say that while I enjoy another title in the series more, I think the characters in this game are phenomenal. I was so invested in them. I really liked them. I wanted them to win. It was so emotional. The ending was so powerful, and I actually, like, shed a tear. Like, it was really, really good. I do recommend it. I know they have weird battle systems, and Xenoblade Chronicles are kind of out there, but if you get past that, I really do think it's a good game. It's definitely worth your time, despite some of the... There are irritating things in this, where there are blocks, where you have to have things, or you can't get past... Oh, I don't even want to go there. It's just really... There are frustrating moments, for sure, but I really still like it. I really still like it. It's a personal experience. All these games are personal favorites of mine, even if they have flaws, even if there are issues. So it's sort of my recovery game from surgery. And, you know, over the years, it may go down on my list. I'm not sure. But because it was so special to me, because it was sort of what kept me going during the days when I was in a lot of pain and on heavy painkillers and not being able to even stand, it was really nice to just sit with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and, you know, see all the silliness that was going on with, like, Pyra and stuff. So it was really fun. I love it. I really like the game. And, I mean, amazing music, gorgeous sceneries. There's a lot to love here. I really like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'll admit it. I really like it. And now is number 7, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And this was tough because I couldn't decide which one I liked more. I think I have another video where I placed Xenoblade Chronicles 2 higher. I change my mind all the time. That's the beauty of these videos, is that everything is organic and changing, and I can't decide sometimes. But right now, in this very moment, I do enjoy this game a little bit more. And the reason for that is I do think it's a more polished game. I do think it's a better game in terms of gameplay, and it wasn't as irritating. It doesn't have as many flaws. So I do think this is the better game, but I do like the characters more in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So there is that aspect, and I did really enjoy both stories. But I will say, Xenoblade Chronicles, in terms of story, it's fantastic. It's one of the best, and it's done in a very cliffhanger kind of way, in like an episodic way. So when you're playing it, every time you get to the end of a chapter, it's like they leave you really wanting more. Like something crazy happens, and you can't wait to see what's going to happen with these characters, or, you know, you find out something that you had no idea, or there's a crazy plot twist. It's this game right here. Like, hugely. It's really, really just a fantastic time. And if you haven't played any Xenoblade Chronicles games, I mean, get to it. It's just, they're really, really neat. They're fun in every way. Weird battle system, yes, but great characters, great story, great music, my goodness. Such an open world to explore, but it also is linear, because I'm not into open world games, but I'm okay with this because you can just stick with the story and kind of just go for it. So that's my kind of thing. And Xenoblade Chronicles does not disappoint in any way. It's fantastic. Coming in at number 6 is Super Mario 3D World, as well as Bowser's Fury. It's a collection. Fantastic. I played this on the Wii U, thought it was fantastic, and then obviously had to re-buy it for the Switch. It's one of the best Mario experiences you can ever get. I find that it is the best of both worlds. You get the 3D element, and then you also get the best elements from the 2D side-scrolling games. It's kind of a 2-in-1 experience. To me, it's one of the best Mario games ever. I mean, I have games I hold very high in terms of Mario, and this one is up there for sure. It's so, so good. I will also comment on the soundtrack. Amazing. I really do find... People always talk about their favorite game soundtracks, and I never seem to hear. It's always like Final Fantasy, or I don't know. It's never Super Mario, and you think, well, they're actually really good. Like, I'm sorry, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, one of the best soundtracks out there. Check it out. It's like a jazzy masterpiece. But Super Mario 3D World, really, really good. It's excellent. I love platformers because I feel like they're do or die. You just gotta go for it. There's no grinding, there's no nothing. You just go for it. And, you know, it's a great experience. It's one of the best genres to me, because you just have to go for it. There's no hand-holding. I realize some platformers have assists, but in general, you kind of just have to do it. And there's no, there's no leveling up or getting better equipment. It's not like that. You have to just go from A to B and get her done. And I love that about platformers, and this one is one of the best. It looks amazing. I love all the new power-ups in it, but it's definitely one of the best Super Mario games. 3D Land on the 3DS, fantastic. Really good too. But Super Mario 3D World, as well as Bowser's Fury, my goodness, this is such a good addition. It was really good. It's not very long, but it's like a solid full game. So this is a great package. If you somehow missed it on the Wii U, this is like an absolutely do not miss this game. We are getting to my top 5 here. And at number 5 is a game that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. But I just loved it. And that is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. What a really good game. Like, what a really fun experience. And I think the biggest thing for me about this game was not only was the story really good, really interesting, and very fun for people who like Final Fantasy VII, but it felt like such a throwback to, like, a PS2 game. And yeah, I know it's a PSP game originally, but playing it now, I never played it back when it came out on the PSP. So it was so refreshing to play this early 2000s style game, and it shows. So if you don't like that, you might be turned off, but it really gave me like Final Fantasy X vibes. Just the way the character looks on screen, the way you're walking, the way everyone's talking, it's so, like, it feels very, like, 2005. Like, it just feels like that, and I love it. I love it. It really takes me back. Everything about it was fun. The music is really good. The story is actually quite good. Like, I didn't think I would be as invested in Zack's story as I was, and wow, I was really impressed. I am sad that I missed it when it came out originally, but it's not a big deal because I got to experience it on the Switch. It was really good. It actually plays fine on the Switch because I know you can get it on other consoles, but it was great on the Switch and I had such a fun time with it. It was emotional, even though I know how it ends because I've played Final Fantasy VII and I understand Zack's story. I didn't really know the events building up to it, and it made it so much more powerful to find out exactly what happened to him and his story, because I really like him as a character now. So this was such a really fun experience. Absolutely loved it. Great action-based combat, such a fun time. I just thoroughly enjoyed the whole thing. It was such a change for me in a way, because I like, you know, my turn-based JRPGs, but I've been playing a lot of action-based ones like Harvestella lately and having a great time, and this was just a huge surprise. Huge surprise. I knew it was Final Fantasy. I'd probably like it. It's from a universe I like. I like the Final Fantasy VII universe, but I just didn't expect to like this one so much. It's great. I highly recommend it. If you played Final Fantasy VII and you like all those guys, you're gonna love this because there's appearances like Cloud is in it. It's just, you gotta play it. It's really, really, really fun. At number 4, we have a game that I just fell in love with, which is a really odd choice and you don't ever see it on anybody's lists, but that's what makes it special. That's what makes this my list, and that is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Absolutely love this game. I fell in love with it, and I will say it again, but mostly because this is the first time I experienced Dragon Ball Z, and I know that's weird, and if any of you don't know, I grew up in the 90s and obviously could have watched Dragon Ball Z, but didn't show any interest in it, and so I've gone my whole life without getting into anything to do with Dragon Ball. I've always wanted to, though. And then this game was announced, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And then somebody had said to me, you can play it because it's kind of a retelling of the entire story of Dragon Ball Z. And I thought, oh, that sounds great. And yes, you can go into this without knowing anything. I read up a little bit on Dragon Ball before I played it, so I was sort of familiar with a few things. And then other than that, I played this, and it's literally like it's the entire Dragon Ball Z anime and manga in one game. It's all 4 arcs. It is so much fun. I did not know how amazing Dragon Ball Z was until I played this game, and so now I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, and since playing this game, I have read Dragon Ball, the entire manga, as well as Dragon Ball Z, the entire manga. I love it. I love all the characters. I love the universe. I'm now reading Dragon Ball Super. I'm obsessed with it now, and so who knew? Like, I really didn't think Dragon Ball Z was so emotional and, just like a really good story. I don't know. I'm bad. Shame on me for thinking it was just dudes screaming, but it's a lot of dudes screaming, but it's really, really, really good. There are characters in Dragon Ball Z that have such amazing character development that I've ever seen. Like, the best I've ever seen in an anime, where you're like, wow, like, this is amazing. And you are, like, I cried at the end. I'm sorry, I did, because I was so, like, emotionally invested in everybody here. This is amazing. It's great. The cel-shaded graphics look so awesome. I played it in Japanese. It was just an amazing time. It's an action JRPG, and it's just so fun. You get to do everything in Dragon Ball Z. So if you think of all the amazing, you know, iconic battles, well, you get to do that in the game. So I highly recommend it. If you like Dragon Ball Z, it's a must, because it's like just pure fan service. Like, you're gonna love it. And then if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z, check this out. At number 3, we have a game that is recent for me, and it's really, really good. I was thinking about it, and I thought, where does this fit in my top games? And it's definitely up there. And in terms of Switch, I had to place it here because it's that good. It really, truly is. And that is Theatrhythm Final Bar line. My goodness, this is one of the best games ever. Yes, it's a rhythm game, but Final Fantasy, the Theatrhythm games, they are something else. And this one is like the complete package of everything. They went all out on this one, and it's just so, so good. At first, I was a little hesitant because I was so used to the stylus and the way that felt as a rhythm game on the 3DS. But then once I figured out and caught on to the way they did it on the Switch, it's so good. You really gotta try it. This is amazing. Even if you haven't played a single Final Fantasy game, you will love it, because Final Fantasy is known for having, like, amazing music, and I mean, it is. It's great. The music is great. But what makes it so amazing to me is that you play these games, and you will play a game in Theatrhythm. I'll be playing a title that I've never actually played the game of, and then it makes me want to play that game. So it's really a great way to get into Final Fantasy, actually. So there's that. But it's great because all the stuff I do know, it makes it more fun, because you're like, oh, you know, all the great songs from Final Fantasy VI or the great songs from Final Fantasy IX, and you know them, and then you're playing them. It's so much fun. It's a great time. And then I'll be playing songs from something like Final Fantasy XIV, for instance, or Final Fantasy III. And I'm like, these are great songs, but I don't know them because I've never played the game, but it's amazing. And then there's all these side, you know, random spin-off games that they put in here too, like random mobile games that I've never played, but the music is great. It was such a fun time. This is addictive, like an addictive kind of game. This is like video game addictive, like where I'll be playing a JRPG and having a good time, but there's something absolutely, like, you can't stop. It's addictive with Theatrhythm. I just love it. I really truly could not stop. I was playing it constantly. It was so fun. I just yeah, it's phenomenal. It's this high up on the list, well, because it's so good, but also for the replayability of it. You can play this forever. There are certain games where it's like, that's great, but I'm really only realistically gonna play it once. I mean, it was great, but I mean, I can't play 50-hour games over and over again. I'm sorry. I will only do that with the odd game. But games like this, oh my god, like, you can play it forever and not get sick of it. You can increase the difficulty. There's DLC, like, there's so much DLC now, my god, I need to go get some, and I just don't get sick of it. I don't get sick of it. If you're like, you know what, I got a half an hour, I got 10 minutes, this is the kind of game you can play anywhere. You can literally devote hours to it. You can be playing it at the doctor's office, you can be playing it on the plane, bring it on vacation. I feel like it's amazing. It's not like a game, like a JRPG where there's a story and you go, where was I in this? Or no, you just play it, you pick a song, and you just have fun with it. That's what this is. This is a game that I will never ever stop playing. So to me, that makes it so high up on my list. The next two games we're gonna go through pretty quickly, only because they are the same, I believe, as my last video. No surprises here. So at number 2, we have Dragon Quest XI. I mean, this game is phenomenal. It's so good. I don't really have much else to say other than it is top-notch. This is a game that I hold very highly because it's a great game, so there's that. Obviously, it's a really good Dragon Quest game. I love it. I love all the characters. I love the music. It's so colorful and fun, and you are actually smiling when you play it. Like, that to me is a big deal. Like, I'm actually... Like, when I was playing it, I was enjoying myself. I was actually so excited to sit down and play this game. There are other games that sometimes, you know, I'm not as excited to play, Final Fantasy 16, and I don't really want to play them. I'm like getting frustrated with them. This is not one of those games. I'm so excited to play it. Like, it's actually... Like, every single time I was like, oh, you know, I got a moment to spare, I can play a game. It was like, yes, what's gonna happen next in Dragon Quest XI? It's emotional. I was actually, like, tearing at parts, which is silly, but for real I was, and it's so good. I love it. But another reason that I also hold it dearly, and this is what makes games favorites, is, you know, personal experiences. This is the first game that I really truly played after my son was born. After you have a baby, you're not doing much. You're kind of just living that newborn life, and it's something else, I will say that. And once I sort of finally started to get my life back together, and I was like, okay, I'm breathing, I'm here. I got the Dragon Quest XI demo because it's like 10 hours long, and I was like, this is amazing. And then the second it came out, I bought it. I couldn't wait to play it every day. And this is like a 100-hour game, and I just went for it. Every day I would play it any chance I got. You know, my son would be napping, and I'd be like, okay, I can fit a half an hour of Dragon Quest XI. And so I really love it. I don't think anything will ever top this for me because it's like my personal favorite Dragon Quest game. It's the first one I played. It's what made me fall in love with Dragon Quest. It made me realize why I love Earthbound so much. It's so many things. It's great. It's just a very personal game for me, and it's just a really special game. I just love it. It's everything I want in a JRPG. And then my interesting number one is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, of course, because, like Theatrhythm, you just can't stop playing this game. It is forever. I've had this game since it came out on Wii U, almost 10 years ago now, I think. Did it come out in 2014? I think so. Whatever. I love it, and I don't stop playing it. I play it all the time. And then the new DLC that's come out with all the levels, I mean, it might as well be a Mario Kart 9. There's so much to do here. There are so many levels. I don't get sick of it. Every single time they put out new DLC, it's even better. It's amazing. I'm addicted to it, just like Theatrhythm. My husband and I play it all the time. Still, after like almost a decade, we're still playing the same game, and I'm not sick of it, even slightly. Like, it's really, really good. The music is phenomenal. The score in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, believe it or not, is actually like really, really good. I would listen to it. I've listened to it several times outside of playing the game. Like, it's just that good. The gameplay is amazing. It feels so satisfying. I'm sorry, but I have to just shout out to Excitebike, because that actually like makes me feel like I'm flying. Like you go off these jumps and I can feel it physically. Like, that's odd, but I'm sorry. If you've played Excitebike, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's so good. Amazing character selection. It's just one of the best. I'm sorry, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's hard because I love my JRPGs, and Dragon Quest XI is very high up for me, but Mario Kart 8, I'm sorry guys, it's so good. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I remember when it first came out on Wii U, I bought it because, yeah, awesome. And then it was like, I'm playing this all the time. And here we are almost 10 years later, playing it still all the time. So those are my top 10 Switch games. The list has changed quite a lot since my last one. So this is sort of my 2023 update video. And I just wanted to share because I've played so many good games lately. And that's the best part, is that if I do another top 10 Switch games in a year, I bet you it will change. And there will be different games on there, because that's the beauty of video games, is that I'm always playing games, and while I play a few games that I can't stand, I tend to play a lot of games that end up becoming favorites. And I know there's that recency bias going on. A lot of these games are games I recently played, but I just think about them and I'm like, they're really high up. They're some of my favorite games of all time, and I just love the Switch. What are your favorite Switch games? Please tell me. I wonder if they're similar to mine, and if you've seen my other video, you can maybe see which other games kind of got bumped off the list. But man, if I did I could tell you top 20, top 30, because I've got so many Switch games that I absolutely love because it's my favorite console. So I want to know, what are your favorite Switch games, and if your favorite Switch games are similar to mine, please tell me in the comments below. Click like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.